What is going on, YouTube? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and joining me for this review of Love and Marriage Huntsville Season 5, Episode 6. So let's get into it. Now, Kimmy and Maurice invite Tisha and Marceau over to their home, I guess, to talk about what happened at Madani. Tisha gets there before Marceau gets there, and she tells Tisha and Maurice that Marceau had a conversation with her after, I guess, they went home or whatever, and Marceau had told her that he did not like how she got involved, or she got in between the fight between Melody and Miss Wanda. And she tells them that she did not like how Marceau talked to her. Marceau was talking to her like real crazy, and so she wanted Maurice to talk to his brother about how he was talking to her. And I'm like, Tisha, this is like a pattern for you. When you have a problem with someone, you can't like directly confront them. You always have to have someone else be your mouthpiece. You have to have someone else talk for you, to be your representative, because that's how you get your mother involved in all of this mess, because you have your mom going out there, approaching Melody, approaching, Martell, approaching Kimmy, approaching people online, because you don't have the guts to do it. And so now you want Maurice to go talk to his brother about how he talks to you. Why would Maurice want to get involved with that? That's y'all's problem. You need to talk to your husband. If you can't talk to your husband, then do what you normally do. Lie to him and trick him into going to counseling and have the counselor speak for you. That's a lot better than having his brother get involved with your marital issues because you're too scared to talk to your husband yourself and to let your husband know one-on-one, hey, I wasn't too cool with how you were talking to me. I'm your wife, and you got to talk to me with some kind of respect. I'm not your child. Don't talk down to me. Don't yell at me. Talk to me like an adult that's on your level. I'm not sure why you can't address that. I mean, it was just like, girl, you're going to have his brother talk to him about how he talks to you? Girl, please. Anyways, moving on. So Marceau shows up. He tells them that him and Martell have squashed their beef. They have no problem because they really had no problem to start with. And he had the audacity to say, we spoke logically to one another like the way men do. Like women don't know how to speak logically. It's just your wife and your mother-in-law that have no logic. So Marceau sees Wanda as the problem, and he says that if Wanda cannot control herself, that then he doesn't want her around. Period. He doesn't want her to be a part of his life. Period. And I think Maurice had said, "Well, how are you going to do that? Because your wife is like attached to her mother. They're like two peas in a pod. So how can you eliminate one without eliminating the other?" So Tisha tells Kimmy that she didn't like how Marceau has spoken to her, like he was trying to silence her. She says that she has the right to say whatever the hell she wants. Okay, fine. Then go tell your husband that. Tell your husband that you have the right to say what you want. You have the right to get involved with other people's fights because you're trying to protect your mother. Go tell your husband that. So Marcel says that he is cool with letting Martell go. Like he's cool with not going into a partnership with Martell because Tisha does not want to work with Martell. Well, why didn't you say that to begin with? Because at first you were cool with it, but now you're not cool with it. Over what? Like, because of what? Him and Marceau had a scuffle at Madani, but they got over it. The fight was started between Melody and Wanda. So what does Martell and Marceau going into business, what does that have to do with what happened at Madani? That didn't make any sense with me. Because Tisha was on board with it because she told her husband, yeah, I'll be okay with Martell, joining us or whatever, but I have to go talk to him first. And so that's when she had that meeting with him. And she said that she was okay with him joining into their business. But now after Madonna, you don't want him to join into the business. And I'm like, what is the logic there? Like, how are you connecting the dots? Because he had nothing to do with Melody and Miss Wanda's fight. And you said it was okay for him to join the business. So I'm not understanding why you changed your mind now. Moving on from there. Martell and Melody meet up. They have a conversation about what happened at Madani. Talking about how they have each other's backs no matter what because they're family. And Martell wants to have like a dinner with all 6 couples. Moving on from there, Tiffany and Stormy. Tiffany goes over to see Stormy at her estate, not her home, but her estate. And when I saw all that land that Stormy and her husband, I guess they own it. I don't know if it's like a family property or if it's their own property. I don't know. But that was a lot of land and horses and long winding driveways. That was beautiful to see. So they talk about what happened at Madani, and Stormy was basically saying that it was basically Ms. Wanda who was like the biggest problem. Um, I don't know. I think it's kind of, look, I love Melody. I really do. But I just don't, I'm just upset with Melody for showing up at that event just to confront Miss Wanda. She couldn't even like pretend to act like she was there to support Destiny. She didn't come with any gift. She just said hi to her and moved on, said nothing else to her after that. She could have done a better job in at least pretending that she was there for Destiny before she got into Miss Wanda. But it was so obvious that she was just, counting down the seconds until Miss Wanda arrived in her food truck for her to go and confront her. Moving on from there. So Martell goes to see Chris because he wants to buy a new home. And Chris asks him, well, after what happened at Madani, are you and Marceau still going to be working together? And Martell was like, no, that is not going to be happening. So he basically confirms that his partnership with Skolt is dead in the water. It's not going to happen. Moving on. So Destiny goes over to see Stormy at Stormy's place of business. And Destiny does appreciate how Stormy approached her at the event. The fact that she came up to her, talked to her, acknowledged her, etc. Destiny says, instead of the Gucci purse, I would have preferred if you had come with some of your beauty products. And Stormy explains why she cannot go into business with Destiny because she already had a distributor, so she couldn't partner up with Destiny. Destiny talked about how Mel didn't speak to her when she came into Madani and didn't speak to her when she left. But I'm like, okay, girl, as much hate as you have for Melody, if Melody would have spoken to you, well, Melody did speak, you just didn't hear it. If you would have heard Melody greeting you when she arrived at Madani, what would you have done? You probably just would have ignored her. I mean, like, girl, why are you making such a big deal about Melody not talking to you? You should make a bigger deal about the fact that she came uninvited. Like, that's where Melody messed up. It wasn't the fact that she didn't talk to you. It was the fact that she showed up at an event that she was not invited at. And you're making, I mean, she keeps talking about how Melody didn't talk to her, but you don't like Melody. So why would you want her to talk to you? Anyway, you don't like her, and I don't want to hear nothing about, well, it's the respect of it all. When you go to someone's event, out of respect, you have to, greet the host or whoever is being honored. But even if she had, what would you have done? Would you have given her a hug and a kiss and said, I'm so glad you came? And would you have talked to her? No, you probably would have iced her out. So don't sit up here and act like, Melody did something so atrocious to you by not speaking to you, even though she did, because you probably would have just ignored her the whole entire time. Stormy suggests that maybe her and Melody should have a conversation or a get together to try to work out their differences, and Destiny is just not having it. What I want to know is, if Destiny hates Melody so much and doesn't want to have anything to do with Melody, how come every single scene with Stormy, every single scene she has, she is talking about Melody in every single scene? Even when she goes to her BFF's house, Martell, all they do is talk about Melody. When she's with Tisha, they talk about Melody. When she's with Stormy, they talk about Melody. And if the other person wants to bring up Melody, Destiny can gracefully bow out and say, you know what? I'm not talking about that person. I don't see it for that person. Me and her have nothing to do with one another. I was Martell's friend before I ever knew who she was. So there's no need for me to even have a conversation about her. It is nothing going on between me and her. We are not friends. We're not associates. We're not anything. So if you want to keep on talking about that person, I'm out of here. And you can exit the scene. Moving on. Now we are at Black. Funky Deneva shows up to Black, and Tisha said that she was really nervous about him showing up. And I'm like, why, girl? Because he talks the truth. Funky Deneva shows up, and he said that he really appreciates how Marceau, who's like uber masculine, heterosexual, what do they call it? well, just uber masculine kind of guy like Marceau still accepts Funky Deneva, doesn't mind, associating himself with Funky Deneva. Funky Deneva then asks about the fight. He wanted to get all the tea about the damn fight. Deneva says that women get men in trouble with their cattiness. Um, I mean, men are still grown. They're still adults. They still have the option to not get involved with women's business. Geneva calls out Miss Wanda and says, it seems like your mom is the problem because everywhere she goes, she's, causing havoc. And with Tisha not saying anything and not checking her mom, it's like she approves of her mom's behavior. Tisha says that she has addressed this with her mother, but her mom doesn't listen. Her mom is always going to do what she wants to do. And so then Deneva was like, well, at what point do you tell your mom that if she doesn't stop, then she just can't come around anymore? Like, when are you going to tell her that? If she's not listening and she's causing all these problems, there's got to be a point where you put your foot down and you're like, look, if you want to be messy, go ahead and be messy, but you're going to be messy over there, not over here, not on my watch, not on my territory. So if that's how you want to be, me and you cannot associate with one another anymore because I am, there's like, there's too much at risk for Tisha. She's losing friends. She's losing her reputation. She's losing supporters because her mom has gotten her involved in a lot of nonsense. But you know what? Let me tell you something. The reason why Miss Wanda does what she does and acts the way she does and says the things that she does is because Tisha wants her to. Tisha encourages her mother to act that way because this is the way that Tisha wishes she could act, but she doesn't have the guts. She's so scared. She's so timid. She's so, oh, I don't know. So she has her mom do it for her. That's why she will never check Miss Wanda because Miss Wanda says and does the things that Tisha could only dream that she herself could do. Just like with the picture of Marceau. Tisha wanted to confront her husband about that, but she couldn't. So she had her mom do it. Just like the stuff about Sugar Mama not being Martell's child. Tisha wants to be the one to say all that stuff, but she can't. She's too scared of the repercussions because she knows that she cannot go toe to toe with Marceau. She cannot go toe to toe with Melody. She cannot go toe to toe with Kimmy. She knows that she can't have a verbal confrontation without breaking down and crying because she's so emotional with any of these people. They will chop her up into pieces. So that's why she has her mom to, because her mom doesn't care. And by the way, I did not even realize when at the Madani fight, that when Miss Wanda came out the back and made her way like around the parking lot and approached Melody from behind, I did not even realize that she got close enough or that she came out with fists swinging. I thought that she had come out and that they had stopped her before she got too close to Melody, but I didn't know she already was like, her hands were up ready to fight. I didn't even know. Miss Wanda is insane. And she's an older woman, and I understand that Melody approached her, and I understand that Melody came with a lot of heat, and Miss Wanda was just trying to match Melody's energy. But still, I mean, if you really got into a fight with Melody, do you really think, Miss Wanda, that you would have won that fight? I don't know. But as far as Miss Wanda and Tisha, yeah, she's not going to check her mom because her mom does the things that she herself can't do, that she wants to do. So she's not going to check her. She probably told her mom, Martell was saying blah, blah, blah about Sugar Mama. So, you need to go out there online. You need to talk about how, Sugar Mama is not Martell's. She puts that battery in her mom's back. They stay up late at night, gossiping, giggling, cackling about the people that they're going to be talking about. They're two peas in a pod. And Marceau knows that. I know that. So this is the reason why, yeah, it's never going to happen. When Geneva was saying, you need to check your mom or just not fool with her no more. That's not going to happen. And then Marceau was like, I've been telling you that, for years. I've told you that 1,000 times. You probably did, Marceau, but you know how your wife and your mom is. Aren't you there when they're cackling together, talking about people and gossiping about people? Anyway, that's my review. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. On your way out, please don't forget to rate the video. And if you like this content, go ahead and subscribe, and I will definitely talk to you later. Bye.